too.
Yeah, so.
The kids started washing windows. And,
Yeah, we washed the windows.
yeah, it was good.
My son had to give me fifties and we were all together. He said, if you get on the ladder, somebody's got to hold it for you.
Yeah.
I had a step ladder and I was over. He says, Elmer, you didn't listen, did you?
Imagine that.
Good Lord, if I ever, right? He's getting back from when I talked. He gave him worse.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Say, are you staying for a little while?
I'm gonna stick around a little bit.
Perfect. Great.
Nothing else to do this morning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trade coffee.
4+.
We had an inch 80 out there where we're at.
See, I'm showing a little under an inch in mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Alan Harder said he had an inch 80.
Well, see, who does that? John Howell posted that he had an inch and 3/4. And then Francis Haberkamp out there on 16, 198, said that he had 3. And then you just keep that over 4. Just keep going down south, the better you got.
David said the field down around Jake's Fireworks there in Beacon,
Yeah.
it's all underwater this morning.
Well, I don't doubt that.
Wow.
Morning.
Good morning.
How much rain did you have? You know.
I don't know, but it was a lot. I was looking at past the Shunga and it was topping off. It was pretty full. Our basement was wet. At the office, so. Seemed like a good leading up.
Christian.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you.
Big.
Bless you. Yes.
Not raining.
More delicate.
Good morning. Does anybody know how much rain we got? Or are you
Varies.
just talking about it?
I think Varies.
Have 2 inches.
Good morning.
I need a rain day.
I will know this.
See, Jerry told me 3. Always 10. I don't know either.
One of them can't see.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
know.
my husband.
I had an H80 out there 2 miles north of town.
Okay, there we go. I'm done.
Everybody different. So.
Yeah, I'm done by May of that, so I don't really work here.
You probably got more than that.
It feels like we have a lot.
How you doing, Joe?
A lot of standing water in the neighborhood, for
Yeah.
sure.
Let's call a meeting to order with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the agenda as written. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right. So, let's take care of some housekeeping first. We have a resignation here. Today, April 27th, and giving 2 weeks' notice is from Scott Kefauver. I would entertain a motion to accept Scott's resignation.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve Scott's resignation. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I would also entertain a motion for his 2 weeks' notice to have him on administrative leave with no pay.
No need, you're accepting his resignation immediately, so.
But he's giving us 2 weeks' notice, so we
Yeah, we don't have to,
don't need to do that?
no.
Okay.
So his termination will be immediate. He just offered 2 weeks' notice, which is.
And we have a payroll change notice from Register of Deeds for Kathleen Wesley. It's her end of her temporary help. And we also have a resignation from the Second Judicial District Nominating Commission effective April 23rd, 2026 from Mr. David Allen. David has served with distinction on that board for how long? A long time. So I would, we need a motion to accept his resignation?
So moved.
No? Okay.
Look for somebody to-
So now we have to look for somebody to fill his spot. We'll look at it.
abatement.
You did, but you missed that sheet.
Oh, okay.
Then who makes recommendations to fill this position for the board,
Judicial?
yeah. who makes
do, I
the-
believe.
I think we do.
Okay, that's what so we need to find somebody to
Yes.
fill that position.
Non-attorney.
Uh,
A non-attorney.
Correct.
And we have a communication from the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, saying that they're going to reissue the permit for Cove Farms LLC in Soldier. Yeah, in Soldier. Does anybody want to see that? Okay.
Christie, do you know if we have any kind of description of what these folks do on this board for the attorney?
I'll have to research that. I don't have.
Okay, so I can research it or,
What's, I guess what, I missed the first part of the Judicial Nomination Commission?
Dave Allen, non-member of the Second District Judicial Nominating Commission. So is that for,
Yeah, that's for if there are judges to be appointed in that district.
each
They'll
one
have
of
a
their,
couple of, there's that person and I'm assuming a couple of lawyers, whatever, and would be review applicants.
okay, just to review applicants and
Yeah, and I don't know that they do anything
other than that?
other than that, except probably, some formalities.
Okay.
What's that?
Yeah.
No, you can work on this. Okay.
I'm gonna be on that group.
So what do they do? They just.
They just nominate, they get together with lawyers and non-lawyers and they bring up names that would want to fill, like the passing of Judge Campbell.
Sure, if
They
there's
would nominate people to that.
like Dick Lake was on it.
Correct.
Which makes me wonder if he can stay on it because he's out of state.
I don't, yeah, I don't know.
He has, he's got an active license, there's no difference would be.
I see.
Probably
Anyway, I
residency
know
is a question.
Dick Lake was on it.
Local.
David Allen had been on it for a long time.
That's Wabunsee County and Pot County, right? This whole-
Say that again.
Yeah, it comes from different counties. There's people from.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so this is the person from Jackson County.
yeah, and this is the whole second district.
District.
Yeah.
Does it get you out of jury duty? Okay, well, I'll keep thinking about it.
All right, Joe, what you got, buddy?
Alright, good morning.
How are you today?
Oh, pretty good.
Good.
It's a Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'll go straight to we have 5 roads that are underwater right now. And we have a lot of guys out there putting barricades and stuff.
Okay. Mostly in the southern part of the county?
Yeah, it's in Delia.
Yeah.
The Delia area.
Okay.
0333, that's a truck that some issues that just got back, it's down again, and we took it to ISIS now.
Thank you.
We haven't got any prognostic back from them yet.
Yeah.
We had a meeting with Enterprise, and it kinda, we knew about it, but it was, worked through, Scott, so we didn't know the exact details of what the meeting was.
Enterprise rental,
Yeah.
yeah, equipment rental, okay.
And he came and talked to us, and he talked about leasing vehicles and getting the maximum trade value and stuff, but for it to work, it would require 20 vehicles, mid-sized vehicles, not to include like they work on motor graders and stuff, but for us to do it, we have to work with multiple departments. So, probably us and accountant here and
The sheriff's department.
yeah, the sheriff's department bought in, then it would be easy.
This is fleet leasing, right?
So that-
They call it fleet leasing?
Yes.
I've done it on the cities.
And worked out well.
Well, I can't say that right now because it just started,
Okay.
3 months ago or something like that. So, but I know all the agreements, I know kind of the system is supposed to work. But that is, I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's for, passenger vehicles and maybe some heavier trucks. But the question would be whether, kind of equipment you guys were looking at what they would be doing.
Did they talk about dump
They,
trucks?
they talked about dump trucks, but he didn't specifically talk about like skid steer or whatever. Anything like that. He did mention dump trucks.
I think initially the conversation was, could we benefit from leasing our fleet of pickups, 1-ton pickups, 3/4 ton, half-ton, law enforcement's vehicles, that type of thing. So I think it's a conversation we'll continue to have, and we need to have it with the sheriff and see if he's interested in being part of that.
He gave us, well, he didn't give us, but he mentioned that Riley County and Jefferson County both use it, and he was going to give us point of contacts to talk to both of them.
Okay.
I reached out to Jefferson County by email,
Okay.
but he hasn't given me any contacts yet.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm interested to see how progress is and what the numbers look like. It is just a meeting for now. I think kind of the numbers are. We had a monthly meeting last week, and as you guys know, heated because of the new changes. The buy-in has been good so far. So I think it would, change is hard.
But at this point, you feel like everybody's bought into it, or do you have anybody who has said that they're not willing to put the app on their phone,
Well,
log in, those types of things?
There are people that have concerns about the phone, but it's not ready for us to initiate yet, so I'm going to cross that bridge when it. There's people that are not excited about it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Derby Road should be finished this week, pending the weather. We're down to 2-inch, and the curves both turned out really well, I think, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
So it should be done then.
Have you been up there? Well, you probably haven't been up there today, but if you get up there, I'd be interested to know, there was some question of whether it would drain correctly. I'd be interested to know your thoughts on whether it did drain out. I mean, with a big rain like this, how well it drained and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, this is the first real big rain it's had, so
Sure.
we tell them a lot. Yeah, we cleaned 9 tubes this week. The list.
Okay.
Our FSA budget's at $114K, and that's due in September. We did 2 replacements at W4 and 171, and 238 and R. I don't know, probably nothing to do, but me and my team have concerns about, we lost our fuel tax refund, and we switched over to the things, and we're gonna potentially lose our 0.4% too. We just waited for 2027.
Right, so I believe that at this point, until we know exactly what kind of funding we're gonna have, there are some things at Road and Bridge we should back off of. One of those being mowing the road right away, park the tractor, and anything that isn't a necessity to keep the road up. I
Put the
think
road groomer on the tractor instead of just parking it.
well, yeah, that's keeping the road up, but anything that isn't a necessity. Now, you have intersections, obviously, that there's a danger of somebody not being able to see around. Yeah, we want to take care of the brush at intersections, but anything we can do to save throughout this period until we understand exactly what kind of funding we're going to have, I think would be important to take a look at. And I also want to have a conversation with you and Matt at some point to talk about whether we can look at outside contractors doing our crossroad tubes as opposed to us owning the equipment and spending the time and the labor to do it. I know that from my position, those are things we have to take a look at. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I think we at least have to take a look at the cost difference, whether it makes sense for us to sub some work out versus owning our own equipment and doing it. So, just a conversation.
Okay.
The 2 W4 bridges, we're gonna start tearing down this week.
They're on tear down?
Yeah, they're gonna start working on them.
Okay.
So the one should be done, the one on the south should be done in a few days, and the other one will take a so they can still, there's a concern about the cemetery up there. It'll be, I'm not sure how the contractor's gonna do it, but there may be a few days where they can't get to there, but not more than 2 days.
Okay.
But if they do one side and the other, which is what they do, they shouldn't. The the main concern was the lady that mows it. And she lives on the south side, so she shouldn't be without for very long. We did that inspection at I in 118. That tube, according to the engineer, it was too small. We're going to replace that. It's currently underwater right now, but
Yeah, so do now.
yeah, good for it. It was a 24-inch, and then he recommended a 42-inch. So we had to do.
And that should get the water down the creek.
Should help a lot more.
Did he have any other suggestions, both for the county and for the landowner?
I haven't spoken with him. He's spoken. I have to talk to him.
I would have that conversation, Joe, and then just share that. I think it's important we share that information with the
Yes,
landowner.
sir.
That, hey, if there is a piece that we're gonna do, we'll take care of it. But here's a piece that's gonna make it better for you, that you need, that it's your responsibility. And I think there probably is.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
So I'd be interested to know how that conversation goes next week, if you get a chance this week to have that conversation with the landowner.
Just from the eye test, parts of his area seems below the water line, so.
Maybe
I
require him to do
some stuff.
Drain tile or something.
They did work at 240 in the county line. It's looking really good up there. So Brandon is scheduled to be back May 12th. He has another appointment on the 7th, but his projected time is May 12th, or May 12th. And barring anything else. Our fire extinguishers were inspected last week and refilled, and that total came out to $900. We looked at LTAP again. We still didn't need to see if we can get something closer because all the classes are so far away. But the Rose Scholar Fund, or it's called the Kansas Rose Scholar Program. If we put someone in that course, the course is $65. They refund $50 of that, so pretty good deal to get those guys trained up. Like the people we're asking about at that meeting. Some people have already done some of the classes, but with that, that's a pretty good incentive to take more classes. It's a lot cheaper. So the W Road 4% for April, we spent $40,000 on W, 40,857.80. Our regular rock fund is $529,951.71. And that's all I have.
Okay. I haven't heard any kind of complaints about roads or anything, so.
I have 190th. I wrote it down. I'll give it to you. 190th south on S Road. There was some concern about why so much work was done down in the maintenance. I don't know what was done to it, so if you want to take a look. And then right here, east of the highway, it washed out into the road. There's a pile of gravel out. Yeah, last time it was over 4 inches.
190th of which?
South of, on S Road, 190th of S.
Oh, S Road, so it's south on S Road. Would it be, okay,
Yeah, minimum maintenance.
okay.
The piece there on 134, it's just the ditch won't handle the water, and so it comes out into the road. It cut a ditch, secondary ditch, and now there's a large amount of gravel that's piled up there, so just have to take a look at that.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna head out to that area, check out our flood units, so I'll check over here later.
Okay.
I did have a question. Do you guys have a regular contact with KDOT for just compliance and stuff? Or do you know?
Specifically for compliance.
Well, I think like,
Our main, yeah, like there's a crew here, I see officers, or whatever they do.
okay, well, that's what I'm trying to think of. Who would you contact when you
So in reference to the signage,
Well, the tribe, yeah, actually. They want to know who is bugging you guys about the bridges, I guess.
okay. So yeah, wherever you got the information on the bridges being inspected, who is that? Is it at the Department of Transportation? Because they're the ones that sent out the document saying these bridges have not been inspected, and therefore it's your responsibility to do that.
If you need to look it up, just look it up and email it to me if you can. They're looking to make direct contact with those folks.
And those emails might have gone to Scott, so, how do we get out, we're gonna do either pathways, get access to his past emails?
I suppose so, but I don't know how else you do it.
Okay. Can you,
Unless somebody.
unless the rules have access to it, Aaron has access to it somehow, you're on your pathway or whatever.
Aaron would, but I don't know if Mary.
Okay.
Jennifer could figure that out. If you can't get with Aaron, then we'll figure out a way to.
I mean, I think pathways will have to be the ones that
Could.
go in and do it, so, yeah. Because we already need access to those.
He was asking what you said.
I said, if Mary or Jennifer does not have access to them, then we'll have to go through IP pathways to get access to Scott's past emails, business emails, because we do need those.
Okay. But it should be under, road and bridge.
Public Works.
Public Works, thank you, not road and bridge, but Public Works is what he gets all that under, so.
All right.
Did you want that before next week? Or?
Well, yeah, if you can, just promise to get him something soon, so, because I was supposed to ask earlier.
So basically, the tribe's wanting to know who's asking whether these bridges.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna start the process, because I've given them a list of what we found, about half of those being tribal bridges, and they looked at it and so I'm assuming that they're saying, well, we've got at least clear up things on those 5, and then maybe they're doing their own search on the other 6 or so, I guess. But they're just saying, we're gonna make contact with them so that we can.
Verify.
Yeah, it ain't cool things off a little bit, so we don't take all pressure.
They don't believe that our emails are valid? I
No,
mean,
they're trying to jump in and say, hey, calm down. Some of these are ours, and you need to give us time to sort it out.
Yeah, I guess it's odd that, I mean, we've been trying to communicate with it for a year on this, and now it's, yeah. Well, I get it, but
But yeah, well, it's just a matter of who's talking to whom, I guess, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's what their feeling is that they do.
Well, we've already started the process of having BG go out and inspect all these bridges,
Yeah.
because we got no response from them over the last
I
10
think we can talk about that too later on, but it's just, they want to try to help lower the temperature if there is a high temperature.
We had also, while Joe's here, we also talked about, well, we'll wait, we'll have more conversation, we'll fill you in on it later. Never mind.
All right.
Anything?
Yeah,
Sounds good, Joe. Thank you.
have a good day.
You too. Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge for the minutes that we received communication from Kevin Robbins. Have you been in contact with Mid-States?
No, this
Okay.
is basically, we had an existing draft of the last agreement for Mid-States. I just went through it, and the highlighted portions are ones that are material changes, the rest of is kind of editorial. And then once we get this nailed down, I can do one for hands that is, again, based on this. It's a little different.
We never got a resolution on the 500 tons of gravel coming out of Hams, what they were gonna do for the past year.
Not yet.
So, I guess Scott was working on that. Do we wanna have Todd just reach out, maybe in absence of him, and let Todd reach out to their attorney and say,
Yep.
hey, we don't have proof of this, how do we move forward? Unless you have proof that it was delivered in some way,
Yeah,
that type of.
Do we know, I guess, was that the whole contract, or was that just like the last couple of years?
no, that's from the beginning of the contract,
Okay, so
So
we,
we take a look at their contract and it's say in there,
for
they,
2020.
and I got that and just thought, but I remember somebody saying maybe we did it the first year or something.
No, that, nobody knows if that was actually, because Scott said he never knew it was in there, because he'd never seen a contract. And I just happened to see it when we were glancing through this. But I have a question, has everybody read the Ham's the mid-stage contract?
I have.
So the separate stockpile, that's not in the original contract that I saw, that I'm reading here. I wonder what, unless I'm missing it.
No, it could happen, because I pulled this off of the server, and it said, my server said this was the final.
And I'm looking at the contract, it was July 5th, 2022.
I'm sure there's not a separate agreement. I know there was an agreement in order to make sure that they always had gravel for us, because we had gone out there a few times and they didn't have
And that
gravel.
might
Okay, I
be, this
get
this
you.
is the only thing that I got sent to you, is this one here.
Well, and I got this one too from Christie, and this might be the, it's the signed ones.
What date is it, 2020?
It's 2022,
2022, okay.
so, but I didn't have, okay, so that,
And I don't see it addendum, the one that's 5 pages long, the one that I have.
okay.
I was just wondering where it came from, because I didn't see it, didn't remember seeing it in the original contract.
Yeah, well, it had, that's a good point, because it had it under consideration, something under consideration. It said 15 cents per ton in Nelson Quarry, which I think is in there. Mid-States increase the discount the price of aggregate purchase by the county from Nelson Quarry is about 50 cents per ton. So,
Yes, there's things in the original contract that I don't see in here, which
Yeah.
50 cents and the separate stockpiles to me is new. There's nothing about the discount.
there's another 65% rebate above. There's no stockpiling, right?
And what you have is how many pages is what you have? Your version of the old one.
Must be 4 pages.
The 5th page that I have is just with 2 signatures on it,
Yeah.
Ed's and Mid-States. Like I said, I don't see anything, the bulk of the contract is 4 pages, correct? But I don't see anything in here about a stockpile.
Okay, well, I guess that's probably, maybe we just ought to focus on what
And I don't see anything that's new in about 65
cents. Yeah.
cent,
Okay. Well,
or any of the, basically any of the kind of considerations from B and C, I don't see in here at all.
okay, so you guys, I mean, you're generally okay with the consideration being paid back and forth?
Well, didn't we kind of talk about that? We found that Ham's pays back monthly. So would it be better for us, rather than waiting for an annual payment, to ask for that payment monthly?
It doesn't matter to me one way or another, whether we get it monthly or annually.
What I was thinking is, you know, as tight as our rock budget is and is going to possibly get, if we would be better off getting that on a monthly basis rather than waiting for a lump sum at the end of the year.
I don't care one way or the other.
Linda?
Yeah, that'd be fine. I don't see reason why not.
So that would be something I think I'd like to
15
ask for on that.
Yeah, so that's the 15 cents.
That's 15 cents per ton, yes.
Okay.
That's all gravel sold out of that quarry.
Per ton.
Yes,
Paid
from the property.
Okay. And then the next is you get 50% per ton discount, something like that.
Say that louder.
50 cent per ton discount, right?
50 cent per ton discount, the Event County purchases 50,000 cumulative tons. But we've already told them that, you know, unless they do something on the price, that they're probably not going to be our,
I don't have a problem with leaving that in there,
yeah.
but it shouldn't bind us to buy 50,000 tons. It just says if we reach that threshold, then we would get a 50 cent per ton.
Well, that's just it. This says it should be, when we're talking about $1.15, $1.15. See, they just say flat 50% per ton, right?
50%.
What I'm reading here is it says Midstate further agrees that in addition to the 15 cent
Okay, but
rebate listed in and above,
Is above B, is there a B above that?
no, this is in C.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But B says, discount the price of ag purchased by the county from municipality by 50 cents per ton.
Yes,
Okay, so that's, I mean,
that's it.
one's a 15 cent payback, two's 50 cent discount, and then third is your 65 cents for anything over 50,000. Read it.
Yes, and in the event county purchases 50,000 cumulative tons or more from any mid-state location in a calendar year, the county shall receive an additional 65 cent rebate for all aggregate purchased that year.
So, yeah, so we're on the same page. It's 50 cents plus 65 cents.
Yes.
Just as long as you hit that notch. That was 50,000.
To get the one.
So,
So, but
How are
I'm
you
a
getting-
little concerned about, so basically what you're saying, what we're saying here in this, is they're gonna put 70,000,
well, but that's,
So-
that, if that was spaced out of the other agreement, then there's no reason to keep it in there.
okay, that's what I want to make sure, because that was not in the other
Unless you
agreement.
guys think that was a valid thing, I'm not married to anything in this thing, so.
Well,
This is
because
just-
we're telling them that we're not necessarily going to be purchasing rock from them in as great an amount since they've raised the price 3 times. I don't want to lock us in for 70,000 tons.
Well, I mean, this is basically just a question. I take out separate stockpile and modify consideration paragraph 4, just including consideration of the already out. If
Yes.
that's done, then we're good with that, I'm assuming, unless you guys want something more.
Not on that, but once we turn the page, dust control.
Yeah, that was open for, that's just my attempt to try to put what you guys said into terms, so
Right.
there's no pride in that, so we can figure out a better way to do it, it's great.
So we're gonna change the on or before August 3rd or 31st, the payment to a monthly. Okay.
So that's the difference. The discount would be on the invoice, and assuming the rebate would be a separate payment. So you guys want that?
Say that one more time?
The 65 cents is a rebate, so I'm assuming they're, I don't know how we want to do that as far as payment is concerned.
Well,
If they pay you rebate, do they pay you money or do
so the 15-cent rebate is the very first one in
Yeah.
A.
they? Yeah,
So really what we're talking about in C would be the 65 cents rebate on all aggregate purchase that year by Jackson County. Is that correct?
And that's paid on a yearly basis under this.
If we reach the 50,000 aggregate. I don't have a problem with leaving that in, but I also don't want to be obligated if it's 45 to something other than paying the normal price.
Yeah, I don't think that is possible. So basically, you hit the mark and years in, we'll calculate it and give it to you.
Okay. So then we get to the dust control haul route improvement. And in that, I think it can be fairly simple that Mid-States Material will pay for all dust control application and chemical for the whole route, 7 or 8 miles that it is from 75 Highway to W South to 134th and 134th to the county line. And so we'll make arrangements, we'll pay for it, we'll have it sprayed, we'll do the prep work, and then they'll just refund us whatever it is. Like this year, it's $1.30 something a foot. That's what we'll bill them for.
So it's a per dollar per foot.
Yes. Instead of the whole 10%, factor of 10%, all that stuff.
Let's just keep that simple.
Okay, so is this like countywide you determine, or were you determine specifically for that route?
It would just be specifically for that, the haul
All
route,
right.
for Mid-States. Because what you have, Todd, is you have Jefferson County trucks coming in from Jeff County. They come down 134 to W, south to 142, or north to 142, and then into the quarry. They're not allowed they're not allowed to come in on 142 from the east, because that road is not sufficient to handle that traffic. Now, that doesn't mean they don't do it. I'm just saying they're not supposed to. And it's signed that way. So the designated haul route is from the county line to W, north to 142, and then all the way out to 75. And so this would be a newer piece, because we used to use the 15 cents to try to take care of dust control and additional gravel. That 15 cents is going to be ate up in just gravel, because we have to haul new material on that on an annual basis.
Well, I guess I'm saying the dollar per foot calculation, is that based upon the county doing all its dust control, and just saying all of our dust control is this per foot?
What Keith is saying was the $1.33 or $1.35.
Whatever it is.
Was what the dust control itself was going to cost.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
So
no, that's not
you
either
give
prep
us-
work or anything like that. That was
Well,
just,
and I'm trying to get down to the fact that and it's not a problem, it's just I want to be clear so I can
Sure.
understand it. When I'm writing this, is that you're not going to that haul route, you're just saying, okay, we've actually figured out how much it costs to do dust control in this stretch, and it's this. You're saying, okay, overall, over the whole county, every foot is this. And then, so we've measured the foot all the way, and that's this, and then that, so it's it's not really a breakdown of actual cost. It's somewhat a takeoff on what generally would be.
Yeah, and on an annual basis, that can be different. It's whatever the bid comes in from whoever puts the chemical on.
Yeah.
So this year it could be, you know, like I said, $1.33. Next year it could be $1.44.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, that makes it easy, so, 'cause
That's what I would.
okay. So, and that, so I'll redraft that whole thing.
And this would be a new piece that they've not done before in the past. They've offered some Band-Aids, if you will, of granular chemical to try to put on it. It just didn't work. This would be a piece that we control on an annual basis. And we just,
But actually, they're treated no differently than anybody else, just, you got, except they're paying for it and the county large pays for it. Okay.
yeah, and we'll do the same with the Hams Quarry, contract is up. We'll do the same with them.
Okay.
There is no up on that from what I saw.
Then we need to
Is there?
renegotiate.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, it shows up here on the heading 2024. Did I read anything in there that actually said that it was?
I mean, the Hams contract now?
Doesn't say for how many years.
So basically, I don't want mid-states to think we're just sectioning them out. This
Yeah.
is something we'll renegotiate when the contract is due with Hams, that they're gonna do the same thing of paying, for the dust control also.
It says the term, paragraph 8, the term of this agreement shall be directly related to all current and future special use permits issued by Jackson County.
Agreement can be reviewed in conjunction with the subdivision and may be amended from time to time or canceled by mutual written agreement. But like I said, I don't believe that I ever saw anything in here that says that there is a timeline on the Hams contract.
Well, it sounds like as long as they have the special use permit, and I don't know how that was triggered to go, whether they have a review every 5 years or something, or it just, if they violated, if they violated and it's out or something, we have to have a finding, I don't know. So there really isn't. I mean, we can basically say this is what we want to do.
Well, like I say, it says in 9, the agreement can be reviewed in conjunction with the sub-review, or may be amended from time to time or canceled by mutual written agreement.
So, sounds like to me, I would go ahead and put together a document for Hams, and let's get that to them also.
Now, who would leave them 500 down?
Well, this would just be a supplemental that they're gonna have to start paying for dust control in their haul route too. Which I think their haul route is smaller, but it would be the same thing that you say to mid-states.
Which is Martin Marietta. Not Hams.
Yeah, Smart Marietta.
Correct.
That was Martin Marietta? Oh, I guess they,
Smart Marietta bought it?
yeah, but they didn't like change the name. Did they?
No, I think Martin Marietta just bought it, but they have not changed the name for Hams yet. How's that sound?
Yes, could you think, I don't know who would have it, indicate the special use permits for them?
Your bill still say Hams on
But if somebody, I think that's probably important to figure out when their special use permit is up or whatever, what the review period is.
Yeah, so 6 on there for the dust controls where it specifically says county will control and pay for the application of dust allocated. So that will need to be. Cost of the application of dust allocated and dust control measures is intended to be covered by the payment of the county contemplated in this agreement. So it doesn't have to be all the fun legal stuff for you.
That,
I mean, yeah, I get it. But it's good when someone, when you have a 500 ton thing, that gives you a little leverage here, so let's chat.
Alright, so we're in your time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that kind of the question also, the related question was the haul route. Did you guys have a right to designate that? My research showed that there wasn't like an official way to say, it's almost by negative implication. The only way you could do it is, I think, for a period of 90 days. But basically what you can do is you can designate weight limits on other roads so that there's no other way to go, right? So I still don't think that there's nothing statutorily that says that you guys can say, you can only enter the highway here.
you can only enter the highway and go this direction.
Yeah. You can do it by saying, by having roads that, the roads are signed and say, weight limit, whatever. If it's based upon a real, thing, right? That it's not, those roads aren't built for big semi-loads, right? So you put a weight limit on it that would be lower than that, and they would not be able legally to turn on it. But you couldn't put signage up and say, the only way to go from this location to this location
Is to go north
is to
first.
go north first.
But we do that currently on 142. We do not, our sign says, and it is enforceable by law, because Tim's written tickets on it or has pulled people over coming off that haul route.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm not seeing the statutory basis for it. I think we're probably, I guess I don't know how that was designated. That was it, you recall it was a resolution or you just,
I believe it was a resolution. We can go back and look at the resolutions and see, but that would have been in 2020 that we did that. My biggest concern is that I don't want to wait till somebody's killed to then go, okay, we need to make a change here. I'd rather have the signage up and do our due diligence. And I already had a conversation with the owner of the new business, and he goes, I already tell him to do that. He said when they purchase hay from him, he tells them to go out to the 75 and go north. That crossing the highway, there's not enough room. And he goes, I will make sure that that's done. But legally, we have to have something up that designates. Does it need to come from the state of Kansas then?
well, I don't think so. I just think that
Can it be done in conjunction with the city?
I'm looking for authority that you have, so designated the way you did.
Yeah.
And I don't see it offhand, but I think maybe it's either one, the resolution is enough, or two, it might be a home rule resolution.
Okay.
Just because I am almost certain that you can't, if somebody's on the highway right of way and they've entered the wrong way, once they've entered, you can't stop them for that. If the cop just saw them on the ramp that they should be on, right? He didn't see right out there. He couldn't stop them on the highway because of that violation. If the guy's on the road, he shouldn't be on. Outside of the highway right of way, that's a ticket, right? If he's on the road, any road that he's not supposed to be on, outside of the highway right of way, that's a ticket. So that's my distinction, right? Because you don't have the right to regulate traffic except as state law allows on highway right of way. That's owned by the state.
So why wouldn't working with the state of Kansas be a way to go to get them to put the sign up and say,
That might be the way to do it.
I mean, just to give you an example, they went through and reworked all the signage down through that area. at all those crossovers for 75 highway. What has been yield signs for years are now stop signs. Where did that come from, and where did the warning come from, or something indicating that, hey, this is no longer a yield, this is now a stop sign?
I don't remember seeing anything at all.
Yeah, there was nothing, and so I would think that, you know, we can reach out to KDOT and say, hey, can you help us? We want to be proactive, we want to prevent, we want to do our responsibility of making sure that trucks of this size are being directed. We recognize there could be a problem. Now, we can't control every truck that comes through there. There's still going to be people that make a left-hand turn out there.
Yeah, well, and I think it's consistent to my mind in the sense that you're asking KDOT to regulate their own right of way.
Correct.
That's all, again, I'm just questioning your ability to do it outside of their recognition, meaning on the actual right of way.
Yeah, so, and I don't know who that, you know, other than Calvin Reed would reach out to him.
Well, I think what I
Seems
would
like
do is I want to get us on square ground with what we got. And then, you know, because no matter what, if there's a guy who's on that road that shouldn't be on, for whatever reason, that ticket, I mean, I know it's written, and I know maybe somebody pled guilty, but, you know, that's all.
On that road that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you're saying they shouldn't go on this road. Your whole problem is crossing, right?
Crossing and turning
I
south.
mean, they're supposed to, they're okay on this road going to the highway.
Correct.
Okay. But you want to route them north, down
Where they can make a safe turn, correct?
Well, on the exit. Okay. Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out. So, yeah, because all the statute says is that you can regulate for weight on a permanent basis.
Okay.
You can say you can do it for 90 days for like weather or problems, but if you want a permanent thing, and so that's kind of what I'm saying. All the other roads around it, you can say those are weight limited, so that.
But we're not going to do that.
Yeah, but you can't do that because what you're really trying to regulate them is all on.
So I guess I would reach out to KDOT. Do you want one of us to do that, or are you wanting to do that, or? I don't have a problem with trying to figure that out.
Well, I think you know the traffic situation better than I do.
Okay.
So maybe that's a good call for you guys to try to sort out. And I still like to see how it's set up.
Yeah, they may be able to go, you know what, we don't have a problem with that, we can do that.
Or for all we know, they did it, right? Maybe they said, yeah, do it, and already they just wrote it down so we couldn't do this.
You didn't have to find, were you looking for it? You didn't find anything? I know it had to be a resolution because Tim said without a resolution, we can't write a ticket. It's meaningless.
And that's correct. And it's still,
And what, Mark, do you want?
Yeah, I was just trying to see if I can find a phone number here real quick, give somebody a call, and I'm trying to remember who his name is. But I would look for that.
Yeah, maybe it's easy to stop them out at the office out here. Their
Yeah.
guy out there.
and it might be a good shift in our world to kind of batten it down a little bit if we need to.
I will stop and look at the one at 142. I think it may have a resolution number. Oh, okay.
Commercial phone route,
Yep.
this is for rock quarry usage.
And so, Supplemental resolution. This is the rock quarry at 14298 Dudley Road. And it puts a penalty on it. So this is it. Almost, they got a couple of statutory references I can look up. I guess the question, do you still think it's probably one of those things, maybe the KDOT needs to know about so they can sign it?
I don't think it hurts to have to make contact with them.
Okay.
But we're not designating that a haulback. That's the last thing we want to do because that road's not sufficient to be a designated haulback.
Well, the following haul route for trucks can be.
Right, so it needs to be reworded
Okay.
that just all trucks over X number of, whether we determine it's feet.
And this is, you're talking, now we're talking specifically now about your road, the one coming off from the new, because the haul route that we've got here for that resolution is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at.
Yeah, 134, the question that you brought up about trucks.
Yes.
So we do not want to make that haul route.
No.
Because if we do that, yeah, that's gonna be a disaster.
Yeah.
Because that road's not built to the standards of 142.
All we're talking about right here is, all we're talking about right here is trying to make sure that semis coming from the new business have to go to the right to go up to 150th, to turn around and go back to the south.
Right. Because the crossover won't allow, or isn't wide enough to allow for a semi tractor trailer.
Yes.
Like the one at the quarry, or the one at the state site or our county site now, south of there, or 110 or 118. Those are all wide enough to handle. Also 160, 158 is wide enough. So there are some around, it's just this one is not.
Right. Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that.
Unless KDOT wants to come in wide enough.
Well, maybe we need to give them copies to that so you can see what it says.
Thank you.
And I found one of my KDOT contacts, I'll get hold of him and talk to him. sure I talk loud enough, y'all can hear me anyway, so,
We can hear you.
thank you. All right. Are we all supported on that? Because I got some more questions.
Well, let's,
Or do you want, what else do we want to talk about?
well, no, on this one, just on this, so the idea is you're gonna make some calls to KDOT. I'm gonna, I'll look at the statute basis. We need to change this, and we're gonna probably do a little bit more on that end too. Okay.
And we got time.
Yeah, it's, I think they did, this resolution is done correctly.
Okay.
In that sense, it gave authorization that was under.
Lee would have done it, so.
Huh?
Lee would have done it, so, I think.
What year? No, it's 2020. No. So,
Oh, you're right. You're right, he wasn't here then.
So, I don't know, do you want me to go through my list first?
Yeah, nope, you jump right in there.
Sam Sarah sent a letter to him saying, shut up. So we'll see what they say. Because they wrote another letter back. They just gave me a bill. They sent me a bill. It wasn't anything specific.
Okay.
So I sent something back that was specific. The meeting with the tribe about the roads, basically, I communicated to them that kind of the course of this would be perhaps a MOU, which would clarify who has responsibility for maintenance of roads and bridges, knowing that we have still kind of 6 or so that are mystery that they were going to try to close them down. But I mean, essentially, the thought was is that if we want to say everything within the reservation lands, the common lands, are yours to maintain, then this is the start. So I guess the only kind of question is there's still the fact that the boundary is on section line roads, so.
I thought we talked about including boundary lines.
Yeah, and there just wasn't any, so if you guys are good with that, I kind of took the task on drafting the first shot at that. So if your mission to me is to say any section line road on the boundary of the common lands are their maintenance responsibility. So I tried to be real specific about that, and it's not doing 30 by 30, but we'll see if that clears inside your head. But that would be the next.
So you would just put common lands or inside the bounds of the 11 by 11, including the boundary line?
No, that's going to be a tricky bit of verbiage.
Help me understand why.
Well, because their contention would be that, now this is all theoretical,
Sure.
with that big asterisk beside it, that their reservation was established in 1846, and the reservation is the 30 by 30. Right? So when if you say reservation, that could mean 30 by 30.
In my opinion, it doesn't.
Yeah, and I understand that, but we're talking about.
Then specifically,
I guess I don't want to give it any
11 by 11.
Yeah, that's what
Whatever
they-
code it is,
they-
that's just, no.
Darren says that they call the 11 by 11 the common lands, which makes some sense in the fact that they were.
As long as we put in there 11 by 11 common land.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I want to be specific about that part. We're not accepting any vagueness that would allow them to extend out.
Sure.
So I'm going to be specific about it.
Isn't this one of their maps? Right there?
It's,
This is one of theirs? That they sent us?
yeah, I think so.
Well, right down
Either
there,
the BIA.
right down there saes reservation boundary, so there
Yeah,
there you
well,
go. It's already spelled out.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I'm saying, there's levels of nuance to this day, meaning
I'll grant you that, but
you'll never find on their side recognition of the Treaty of 1865. And, you know, there's no way to make somebody,
No, I understand that, and I agree 100%, but when their documents come to us with reservation boundary with the 11 by 11, then what are we supposed to go with,
yeah, and then the
you know?
the legal side of it is define it in the document. So if I just say reservation,
Defined in the document right here, from
no,
the,
I'm gonna define in the MOU, the MOU is gonna say
and so spell it out
either the
specifically.
reservation, or I could say common lands, and say common lands are,
Perfect. Yeah, I see where you're going. I like that.
yeah, because if the more general language you use and don't define it, and then gets to the point of where they think reservation is something different.
Sure.
We do, it's still confusing.
So spell it out, 11 by 11 common lands, that's fine and dandy.
Okay, so those section line roads are theirs. Okay. And that's good. All right. Then I'm gonna get to making the agreement. Okay. Any questions on that?
Will in that agreement, it also say, in no way, shape, or form, does this give you legal authority over this road? It simply says you will maintain. So
Yeah, that's the idea. I've never
Okay,
said anything different, but this is
I like
maintenance,
it.
it's not ownership.
And then we can send it to them and say, this is what we would like to see done, and move forward from here.
Yep.
And I think there's justification for it. If they want justification, I mean, the amount that they've grown over the years, and the amount of traffic and so on and so forth, we believe that this is a way to move ahead and work together.
And I don't think there was any kind of heartburn about that part of it. There's, I think, a recognition on their part that, you know, you build it, or you want to maintain it, that's, you have to be clear between the two of them.
Okay.
And that all works. Probably the only thing left is, at least that I've got ready, is the tax information for Ted Smith, got the email. Yeah, the sales tax.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, so, I mean, he basically, sums it up is that you guys can continue to levy that tax, but you gotta have your next election.
And that would still be August 4th. We put
Well-
it on the ballot for August 4th.
It's confusing only in the sense that I think that the dates are weird, because I think what happened in the past was that the election was a November election for the first one.
Okay.
So that election, probably the first you could certify the canvas would be on, mid-November. And then the statute says that the tax takes effect the quarter after the quarter that.
You have to have 90 days to get everything
Yeah.
set in motion.
Yeah, so basically you couldn't, the first time they could have set that KUR could put the tax into effect was the March 31st or April 1st or whatever, that next quarter. So the only trick is that if you put it on the August, the approval technically could go 90 days earlier to that quarter when the tax already exists.
But there doesn't have to be legislation to put this on. See, that's where it's confusing.
Well, that's the first thing, I guess, I skipped over that part. They say, and I think it's apparent that's the case, that nothing that went on in the legislature this year undid subsection B13.
Okay.
So B13 is still in effect, it still can be renewed like you've done before.
We've never done it this way. We've always gotten legislative authority in the past. That's what I've been told. Like Kathy
We
mentioned.
have, we've always taken it back to the legislature.
And so
That's why I'm confused.
Well, but that's just it, I don't think.
maybe it just didn't need to be done, and they did it
Well,
anyway.
Well, here's how I see it, right? Okay, so you guys recently did the hospital.
Mhm.
That was in the statute. Whenever they add one on for whatever reason, you come to them or another county comes to them, and says, we want a special sales tax. You say, okay, this is 40. Jackson County, this is B41, because it's the 41st request that they had to do that passed.
Okay.
And then if you started one now, you would say, okay, I want a special tax for this. And they would say, okay, well, you're 42. You're Central County, you're B43. So they would add those on. Now, what you said was correct. There would have been, every 7 years, there would have been a new number. But there isn't. There's only one. There's only B13, which, and it says in there that it can be passed for a period of 7 years. So I think I have no evidence of the fact that there's a statute, because it isn't in any of there's not an 821 that has that. There's only one. So I think you guys renew that every year based upon that statutory authority. Because it renews, we're able to renew it, and that's what Ted Smith says. So you can just, like you always done, you can renew it. You don't need legislative action to pass it, because B13 is still in effect. So the only question we have now is, when do you want to perform the election to get it done?
Is there any reason it can't be on August 4th and then not take effect until?
I don't see the problem if you don't have it take effect until.
Because as of now, it's not, this one's not going to end until the first quarter in 27, right?
Yeah, March 31st.
That's when it started, when that's it.
Well, so then if we pose the question, and I glanced at this when we were down there in Hutch, and I didn't follow through reading it, the whole way. I read it this morning after I talked to you, and yeah, and going back and look at this, look at the statute, it does look like, I agree with you 100% on that. I didn't really know whether I believed it or not until I actually got down and read it, then went back and read the statute. And I do agree that I don't think that we do have to have the legislative authority to renew this as it is. Where we did have to have the legislative authority is when we asked for the extra 0.1% going to 5% and cutting cities out. Yeah, then we do, but I don't think for this now that we need to
Right, I think
do
we
that.
established that. So
Yes.
is there any reason we can't do the August 4th primary election? That's what we've been telling people that this would be on, and have it take effect. But what you're saying, or what I think I'm hearing, is that if it's in November, it wouldn't take effect for 90 days, which would that leave us a gap?
There's no gap there because your old tax doesn't expire until March 31st. So basically, that's what you've done every time.
So then there's no reason to not do it in the November election.
It's just cleaner.
Okay.
I mean, that's the only thing.
Perfect.
It makes
I like that.
it flow better. I mean, because the question, I'm thinking that the way you do it in August is you're right, the ballot question is different. And you basically tell KUR, here's the certification. Don't do it until, even though you could do it on January 1, don't do it on.
Well, did we put on the ballot question the 0.4% sales tax beginning,
Yeah, take effect
March,
on
April 1?
no earlier than April 1. So,
Being elected, no earlier.
yeah.
April 1,
Takes effect as
27.
soon as it's.
Well, takes effect on the
registrar's desk.
Does it?
And then you have to wait 90 days.
Well, but they don't assess it.
Right, for 90
Right,
days.
until,
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, your resolution is passed, and then KDR collects it. When do they start collecting these questions? So, I guess the question whether we do it in August is moot if you guys won't get it in November. But it just lessens some confusion when they arise.
I'm fine with November.
Yeah,
You're not. Or you have some reservations. That if it passes, then 90 days from then, we would.
November's fine with me.
Probably more people vote in November.
And if it doesn't pass, then starting April 1, we're gonna have to figure out for 2027 where we come up with $600,000, or we just cut that from the budget, and cut it from the lot budget, is where it's actually coming from.
I mean, this is all.
People have to make that
We
decision.
go back to the
on their own.
legislature the 1st of January 27.
If we had to, we could do a special.
If we had to, we'd try to go from there.
And I can't remember what county it was that we talked to down there, the convention that already had their election, it's one of the smaller counties out west, already had their election before the legislature ever did it, because normally it's a done deal. And normally, and so, you know, they're sitting there and everything's passed, and the legislature didn't do their thing, so they're out.
That may be the case if their authorization, I thought the statute they were, well, that's just it. But some of those could be written to say, this is a one-shot deal.
Yeah.
Yours wasn't, but that could be, and then they need to do.
Well, I don't know if this was a new one that their legislator told them, yeah, we'll get through, no big deal, and then, so they had the election, and then it didn't happen, so.
Wow.
But
So, we put this one on, and then if we just run concurrent with this, and then we can put it back on the ballot in 7 more years, without having to have another session.
Assuming that nothing changes in the overall scheme of the statute, yes. I mean, I think this is basically as eternal as every 7 years there's a Jackson County.
As long as there's some change.
Yeah, and you're limited to the 4.4, you're limited to
So the
purpose.
cities will still get their share.
Everything that's in effect is going to be the same.
yeah.
You can't get more, you can't get it for
It's not fun.
hospitals, you can't do anything else with it.
Let me ask you this, can we eliminate a sales tax
That you,
prior to its sunsetting? Here's my reason for asking that. The whole start of this conversation was to generate more money for road and bridge for rock, because the price of rock has gone up multiple times in the last 2 years. And by having the new legislation, bumping it to 0.5, and eliminating all the cities from taking any of it, it all goes to rock. We generate more rock. I believe that's a fair way to fund that versus through ad valorem tax. But if we can eliminate it and still ask for the new legislation January 27 to take effect in January of 28, I would still like to pursue that, because we need the extra income to purchase more rock.
What would be a reason that we couldn't rescind that sales tax and pursue the 0.5%? I don't see why we couldn't, as a body, rescind that at any time.
well, I mean, I think, like, I mean, my gut reaction is because it's voted on by it's an election, not a legislative action by you guys.
Sure.
Gives me a little pause. If you guys just were able to impose it and pass it, I wouldn't have a problem, but that gives me a little bit of heart.
So the problem is,
Yeah.
we're locking ourselves in for 7 more years
So, point four.
of a smaller amount, and the whole purpose behind this was to get the larger amount so that we could have more money for gravel and not have it, and spread that over more people. And frankly, 30% of that, 25 to 30% of that is paid by people who don't even live in this county.
I would think it's going to be any way you do it, it's going to be odd.
It's going to be what?
You're odd because you're going to be rebuilding something. I think an alternate method I would say is it doesn't put you at risk, is that the legislation that you're talking about next, which is going to be B43 or whatever it is, you can say specifically, this is 0.1, added on to the A13, and
Right.
that at an election, you can vote to add that part.
But that still wouldn't
But that still
eliminate.
wouldn't eliminate the cities.
Right.
Well, I mean,
It's a significant amount of money. The other option we would have would be to essentially roll the dice and not renew this and have legislation written. My conversation with Representative Evercamp was that he would get it voted on in January, have it to the registrar by the end of February, we could vote on, March elections.
well, and I'm just saying, if you're talking about a legislative action, we can pretty much, I don't see the difference between a statute that says, oh, well, they'll pass this and we'll replace this other one, versus .10, add it on, and then thereafter can say, in 7 years, you can vote again for .5, right? And do whatever, have the city involved, all that stuff. So, there's just no, I'm not seeing the circumstances that you can't put into that bill that doesn't fix everything you want. I mean, I'm getting the fact that the benefit of this is that no matter what happens, you'll never fail safe back to zero. You're always going to be a point for it, which is number one, right? And you're never taking a risk that a year from now they put it down. Then you add just the little .1, that's on the vote, that gets voted in. And then the next time around on the 7-year cycle, it's 5.5 of the voting on it, and you unified it, and that's it. You can write a statute that says it.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
Who did this thing?
I don't necessarily like that
No, that's
thought
the
process. Just simply because then we're still right the same boat of not collecting everything for the county for road and bridge rock.
The only thing I can think of is
That's the only thing that I
Does that mean that's?
hesitant on it.
well, yeah, it's countywide. I thought it was. I mean, I haven't ever had that question, but then a lot of these are cities. I mean, that's never a question that they can't go outside of city limits. Can you go inside city limits for sales tax? I mean, countywide. Countywide is.
Countywide is countywide.
Yep. I don't know, I wonder if there's ever a countywide sales tax that's not like in the city. I mean, there's probably some element of that, isn't there?
Say that again.
Well, I mean, what countywide sales tax is not collected in the cities?
Can't imagine there would be.
I
if
can't
it's
imagine
countywide.
it would be.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So,
Now, their city sales tax is not collected, it's not collected.
And what's
It's not
crazy
collected.
is cities can put to a vote without authorization from the.
Yeah.
yeah,
And that was
that's
one of the things-
crazy.
That was one of the things that was discussed down at the conference too, is basically they are using us counties as political leverage amongst themselves because there was only 3 counties this year that got it, and they got pulled out because their legislators did some
Yeah, they did.
finagling.
Didn't
I'll just put
override
it
the
that way.
veto and
And there was only 3 counties that got passed.
well, politics.
Yeah.
That's why your cities don't depend on that, I guess. So that was one of the amendments to it too, wasn't it? You guys, it was just gonna authorize counties to do exactly what cities do. So
That was a new statute that they were trying to get passed, or a new bill they were trying to get passed.
the only limit on cities is they can't go above
Yeah.
a max.
And it's, even though there's multiple cities or counties within the state of Kansas that have the ability to put it to a public vote without authorization, is there anything that says, okay, counties that don't, that's an unfair practice, that they're not allowing all 105 to have that same right?
No. You mean as far as like legally?
Yeah, legally. Yeah, can we say, based on,
Well, there's no, I mean, that's the question is that,
They passed, the legislature, those three counties that I was speaking of, they were asking for a sales tax.
No,
And
they have
got-
the authority to pass sales tax without.
That was not the way that I understood it. I understood there was three of them that had a sales tax question come about. And those legislators got it to where they could have their sales tax and nobody else could
no,
this past year.
there was a lot, I mean, there's like 3 different bills.
There were 3 bigger cities within their counties.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, but there's also ones that are just like, not specific counties, but just like generally, so there's a number of, I don't know which one was discussed and which only, but, I mean, I don't think, the issue is, I mean, legally or constitutionally, however you want to put it, is that counties don't have like an equal protection right.
Yeah.
They're arms of the state can do what they will as far as their rights are concerned and treat some counties as unequal to others, and they've done it because there's specific statutory provisions for Johnson County and Sedgwick County that aren't in effect for you guys. However they justify it, I don't think it's ever been challenged. So, gives, and they probably wouldn't, I can't imagine the theory in which you could leverage that. So.
well, that Leavenworth and Butler.
But that doesn't strike me as being a paragon of legislative power, so it's probably an easy one.
Hi, Ally.
You got it.
Okay, so are you happy with what you heard today, or still have questions? Okay.
So we're planning on November, so we just need to get, do you want to get a resolution
The
for that?
one thing that I would like answered before we do this is, if this passes, can we turn around and rescind it and go after the 5%? That's my biggest question right now, and that's what I would like to answer before we say yes, we're going to proceed with this or not.
Would- Okay, so, I mean, I think there's scenarios. Scenario one is county commission vote, just passes the resolution saying, because you guys do have, at the end of the vote, you have a resolution that says this is what we passed and here's what we want to do. Now, you're going to do that, and then 6 months from that point, you say, okay, county commission rescinds that. Is that, you have the authority just to do that. Second scenario would be they pass some kind of resolution saying you can go to the 5.5. Your ballot question for the election that you're allowed to do says rescind 0.4, apply 0.5. So there's a vote that happens that has the same effect, it's just, that's the authority for doing it.
And so therefore, either way, we would not be out.
Yeah, you're either gonna get 5 or you're not gonna
And
get
then
it,
it
or you're
not
gonna be very
pass.
full.
that makes better sense, yes.
Okay. Like I said, I just want to make sure all
So
our
we'd
ducks
still
are
keep
correct.
the uniform.
Yeah, and that's what,
Yes.
I'm in that way too, I don't wanna lose what we get
Right.
for the shiny ball,
Yeah,
and they have nothing.
okay.
Well, yeah, let me take a look and see if I can put something more solid in my head for that process.
Thank you.
guess for my purposes, are you okay with, this next go around 0.5 is going to be the same restriction, meaning for the purposes of road and public improvements, not anything else, the general public?
This are the way that Mr. Alcamp wrote this legislation for us, it already excludes cities, correct? It all comes to the county.
That's what he had written.
Okay, that's, yep, okay.
Does somebody have that language?
I don't think, did he ever send it to us?
Yeah, he did, because we gave directions in first time.
Yeah, actually, Tara might have that.
Yeah, purchase that.
I see it in. My general legislative research has shown me things specific to Jackson County. I don't know if it's got a lot, I just got lost in the shuffle of so many bills out there because there's like substitutes and stuff like that.
That's 17.
Okay.
Just a number.
Okay. That's my list. It's just not much. Sorry.
I'm looking at the email string right now, hang on just a second. Okay, so right here, the response when we asked about changing it from splitting it with the county or cities in the county to all county, and the response from Mr. Alcamp's office was from Adam Severs. Is this gravel for roads? This appears to be a sales tax levy under county's general sales tax authority, which can go up to 1%. I would need to check with KDOR to confirm, since they keep track of sales tax levies. Assuming this is correct, we'll need statutory authorization to switch from using county general authority to a specific dedicated sales tax, thus eliminating the distribution of the proceeds so that the county will retain all funds. Well, I had thought that the way that, what was it that we were just looking at, that 19? I thought that already specifically stated in there that it was 4 roads.
Yeah, 13.
Isn't that the one we were just looking at?
Well, I think
12, 180, 187?
I think he's restating something that's, what is it? 187?
12, 187 B13.
Yeah, that's the
12,
one.
187 B13, and it's
Pledging the revenue received therefrom for the purpose of financing
Financing public infrastructure projects. So that's specifically what it's for. So how are we distributing that with the cities and the counties? Or cities in the county?
Doesn't say anything about it.
About what?
What the
If
city-
we just said we want it, from the way I'm reading that email from here, let me forward that to you, so that you're looking at what I am.
Well, I think he's talking about that you're allowed to do a general for, what is it, 1 or 2%?
Up to
No.
1%.
With no renewals
Right.
for as forever can be. It's not designated to anything, it doesn't sunset.
Right.
You can do a
But
special.
then he's not talking about sunsetting, he's just talking about a specific thing that you're putting the sales tax towards. And if you do, from what I'm reading here, if you do have a specific entity that you're putting the sales tax towards, you're not sharing it or splitting it amongst the cities.
Well,
Didn't we put that in, that it's for,
well, but that's just it. I guess I don't know what you guys are doing with the money, because in my mind, if you pass it countywide, you still get the money. It's just what you do with the proceeds of that. As long as it goes to roads and public infrastructure, you're okay. Because that's, the division is, you collect 1% for whatever purposes forever, whatever you want. It's yours to do with what you want. There's also a limit of 0.5% generally that you can do for whatever it's, I forget the limit, but you can specify what it is without getting legislative approval. If you want anything else, you get legislative approval for that percentage. And you got it, and if legislation says you are designated for this, then you have to designate for that. And that's it.
which, that's what I was saying though, in that 12187, we are specifically designating it in there per statute to public infrastructure.
Yeah.
So why all this time have we been forced to give
So
the money out to the cities? That's all I'm asking.
I don't think we were forced. Go back into the minutes the first time before it was first voted on. I think that it was,
It was allowed to share
I
with
think it
them
was decided to do that. I think it
to
was.
get buy-in.
To get a vote.
Yeah, to get buy-in.
To get a vote to
And
pass.
it's plain and simple. I mean,
Okay.
to get buy-in, they had to include the cities.
Okay.
I think that's what was done. I'm pretty sure.
So, I mean, it doesn't say anything about distribution of it, but that's it. You know, if you guys get the money in, how you distribute it, as long as they're bound by that too, meaning if you give it to the
It's
city.
distributed by population and.
So was the question where I was going, is it,
Why
if we
can't we?
renew this, do we still have to share it with the cities?
According to what I'm reading here from that email string back in.
Yeah, and that's the whole purpose, okay.
Yeah, no,
Well, I mean, I think what you've hit on the key is that I think you have to show that to be the case. If you're not going to, you know, because you want the vote, voters to be okay with it.
yeah. But what he's asking is, the way that we word it, and the way that it was worded on this 12187 was for public infrastructure. So the KDOR guy is saying that if you just say we want a 1/4% sales tax, then yes, you have to split it amongst the cities and the counties.
Right.
But if you put it for a specific thing, such as public infrastructure, or word it this time for road gravel for roads or whatever, then no, you don't have to.
But we don't have that option right now.
Not if they put something in the minutes, not if the county commission said that was what it was,
Well, I think, you know,
to get buy-in to get the vote passed.
there's no such thing as a stopple here, but your part of your reason you passed, I think you're right, you got passed because you said it would go to the cities, not specifically just the county.
But we can't do it for 7 years and then 7 years later get ready to redo it and say, okay, yeah, we choose not to today. That's not the way the legislation was written.
Now, the legislation doesn't say anything about that. I mean, unless it's inherent countywide.
Okay.
Meaning,
Let's find out.
okay, what does countywide mean?
Yeah.
In that first ballot, the ballot say.
December 19th is when it.
was it 15? That was what it was?
That's so weird because it's towards the end of the year, you keep the years. It's voted on the year before it becomes effective, so.
See, so I mean, the sales tax rate for Jackson County is 1.4%. And the 1% is for general purposes and the 0.4% is for public infrastructure. So the 1%, yes, that gets distributed to these cities in the county because it's for general purposes. But the 0.4% sales tax for public infrastructure should not be split amongst the county or split amongst the cities, from what I'm reading from the KDOR, unless, like you said, they did. I don't remember back then, you were sitting upstairs. If they did that for public buy-in to get the vote passed, then yeah, okay. But I would like some research on that too. Because I don't know when the 1% went in. It doesn't say, it just says that's what our total sales tax for the county is 1.4%.
So Christie, would that be in a resolution, form of a resolution from back then? Sure.
January 22nd, 2018. Representative Air Camp visited the commissioners regarding the current 0.4% sales tax for road and bridge improvements and infrastructure due to sunset December 31. This says nothing about cities.
So I think,
So then you say it was back when they originally passed it?
But I think if you
Keep going back.
keep going in minutes and go back,
So let's go back to
12,
when was the first time was ever voted?
No, 04, 03 or 04? 04. Yeah, I don't got the whole resolution here. Wow, that was close. 2,861, 2,794. 67 votes.
so in an email from
I don't see it originally.
this Adam, it says, assuming this is correct, you would need statutory authority to switch from using county general authority to a specific dedicated sales tax, thus eliminating the distribution of the proceeds to the county, so that the county can retain all funds.
Okay.
So we would need a statutory authority, which they're the statutory authority, I assume.
So it would say, I mean, he's saying that they assume it's going to be distributed equally unless you designate differently.
Right.
So that may, I can put a flush to that.
Yeah, to flush out whether we have that statutory authority or if that has to come from the legislature.
Well, the question could be, I mean, the question also is, do you have to do it in the ballot question? Right. If it's not,
If it's just our authority.
yeah, just your ability to distribute to whomever you choose, then that's a real question.
Okay.
Because as long as it's for the purposes,
Read on up to the next two emails.
All enough to the what?
Go up to the next, where Chrissy answered, yes, this is for roads, and read on up to Adam's answer next. Because yes, the 1% sales tax for the
Well, hang on, let me
county.
read it. Okay.
You don't have this, right?
right, Todd? I don't, please.
It says,
Forward.
as of July 1, 2025, sales tax totaling 1.4 includes a 1% sales tax and 0.4 cents for public infrastructure.
1% sales tax for general purposes. That sales tax, according to what Mr. Adam stated in his previous email, that 1%, yes, must be split because it's for general purposes. The 0.4% is specifically stated for public infrastructure, so that part should not be split.
I would agree, but I think we have to find out whether we have the statutory authority to change that, because what we've been doing over the last however many years, we've been
Discretionary.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it was never, since it was specific, we didn't have to do that. The 1% is all that we had to do.
Yeah, that's,
You know.
but that's water under the bridge.
I know, I agree, but now can we change that now?
That's
Was it written in a resolution like that, or was it just, was it?
that's what Todd's gonna find out.
And I think the answer is,
Chrissy's looking for it in a minute, but that's what I'm saying, so the 1%, I'm just trying to get across, the 1% is the only thing we have to.
I understand that.
To split.
I'm gonna see if I can see.
Possibly. I'm not gonna say definitively what he said in this email is correct until I see it, whether in a resolution
Yeah,
or
that's
we
what
have
I'm
an
saying, yeah.
opinion on it from our attorney.
That's what I'm saying, if it isn't a resolution or isn't a minutes, that they said that they would split it, fine and dandy.
yeah, and the question may be, is there, I mean, if it is discretionary, do you change that, and do you alter the ballot question so that it's clear? Because in fairness,
I think you do.
I think in
In
fairness.
fairness to the cities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because if you're evenly distributing it, then that ought to be a positive for people in the cities. rather
Sure.
than negative. Right. But I could also see where the fact that when you got it, you can, as long as you have some kind of authority, some kind of buy-in from everybody that's going to go to roads, that you can distribute it to whoever you want. Right?
Yes.
So you'll have that in 20 minutes.
All right, while you're here, you might as well hear this too, because I'm not quite sure just what the heck's going on. They stated, as far as for our website. Did you hear that?
Go ahead. I
Apparently we have to have our website up to ADA compliant.
oh, ours is.
It is?
Yeah, because we use Civic Plus. And it's been updated. We tackled that 5 years ago when we changed from the website that we have to.
Okay, they also said that if we are a .com or a .net, that's not good. You have to be a .gov now. Have you heard that?
I didn't hear anything about.
I think
Can't be
you
a
might have been out.
.com.
I think you might have been out of the room when they were talking about that on Friday. So
And
you might check
who
into
was
that.
saying that?
It was announced at one of the breakouts.
I heard the piece about being ADA compliant. And another commissioner from another county and I were talking, and he said, we use Civic Plus, and he said they update their ADA compliant. And I said, we do too. I never heard anything about it.
So I think you stepped out of the room. So I'd like that checked into if you could, Chrissy, and see what's going on there. And how do you make a website ADA compliant?
I was just gonna let
You have, so one of the things, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, is when you go to our website, you can hover over it and it's going to have text to voice information. So if you hover over anything on there blindly, it will say, this is a picture of Jackson County Courthouse. This is the pull down for the treasurer's office, the clerk's office, the commissioner. That's ADA compliant. For blind or hearing impaired, they have a way
That was,
of.
okay, no, what you said just right there, that was one of the things that was brought up. How do you make it ADA compliant for a sight challenged person?
Well, that's what
Just what I said.
yeah, there's,
All you have to do is hover over, they have to have a special device that goes from text to voice.
Sure.
yeah, it's an active, but the text itself has to be
And ours
coded
are.
so that when you're,
Okay.
when you're cursing.
I mean, for a sight person, a sight challenged person, you just blindly scramble
You do.
around on the,
You go from spot to spot on it,
okay,
and you move, and it will give you direction through voice command.
okay.
And it just has to have the capability. It's kind of like buying a tractor, and make sure if that tractor is capable of using guidance, you still have to purchase the equipment and the screen that go in the tractor to activate it and the antenna. It's compliant, but you still have to, on my part, I would still have to have that equipment in the tractor to make that compliance work.
Right.
Same thing with the website.
Okay.
But the .gov to, yeah.
That seems odd to me. I mean, I know that's the preference. You guys have done? Tom?
Yeah, we're .com.
Okay.
We are, you hover over, welcome to Jackson County. It'll show you that it's Jackson
Yeah, I
County
mean, I know that was,
KS.com.
that was a standardized extension a couple of years back that said, you know, we need to have everybody go to this, but I didn't think it was like,
And what agency would force us to be .gov versus .com?
I don't know. I mean, it's almost, I think it's just where it resides in some respects, so I don't know that it's,
It's easy enough to find out through Civics Plus.
Yeah,
They
maybe
handle the
it's-
majority of websites across Kansas.
maybe you just have to contact them and say, hey, we got, it's gonna be, there is gonna be, if you have all your email addresses to the domain. You guys are all jaco@jaco.com or whatever. Switching those domains, that could be there. Hopefully get it all forwarded to the right place.
Like I said, that was brought up, so I thought I'd just bring that up here and make sure that we were,
You have until
Where we
April
need to
of
be.
27.
what's that,
April of 27.
April 27th?
Change.gov.
To be compliant, but I'm gonna email ID pathways and see what they say.
So that'll just be done through Civics Plus. They'll,
Yeah.
that's what they get paid the big bucks for.
All right.
And maybe Aaron, do you know if Aaron maybe has already received something from them, possibly?
I haven't heard her talk about it, but I will ask her.
Well, I'm gonna go talk to Kate about that special use permit, so I'll be back in bed if you think of anything else light and easy to discuss. And
No, it'll be very difficult. really think, down at the, senior citizens, we need to make sure that she's getting some help on these bids and, with somebody who understands what's going on down there. It's a concern.
She's already contacted, Greg, and he got right back with her, so they're already talking about that. Yeah, because I
Well,
never,
I even think, you know, having Matt come out there and having a conversation with Amanda about, you know, the 2 coats versus 1 coat, I mean,
yeah,
it's just not something that's in her wheelhouse.
Sure.
And I would rather have somebody who does that and understands,
yep.
help her with that.
So that just, I'm still blown away by that. You gotta take concrete out, put it on dirt. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I think there must have been something lost in the
Translation on that, yeah. I would agree.
She gave me a copy of the.
I'll have to go to the election and see if I can find it up. It's not on, evidently, I haven't seen it.
I have this down here.
Here's all the old stuff. It's 2013.
Yeah, that was weird.
Right, and you could do the same thing about giving money to the city, sharing with the city.
This is just their version, it doesn't say anything on how it's a version.
It hasn't said anything about it. And this bill is what was originally from the beginning, told me.
That's the one from this year,
It's one for this year, okay.
But it looks to me like they kept all of the previous years.
Because everything's just,
Yes, and just keep adding to it. Have you looked at it?
Yeah,
Well, it looks like since the 80s, they've just been adding counties. And they leave all the language in.
yep.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And then they just keep adding to it, but at the very end, it talks about how it gets apportioned based on population and cities and stuff. I think we're going to remove all that this session.
Okay.
So is this the one that did not get passed?
This is, yeah, this year's. But see, like she said, it's like, they took that bill, and these are for all the old ones. They just cross through it, keep going. And so that's what she had. That. Let's see, here tell. That one, see. Oh, it's confusing.
Okay, but this is one we did not get passed, so we're all going to focus on that, right? I was trying to see where here, so.
I don't know why, but I just thought they voted on it to give it to the city so that you know.
Here we go. KSA 12-192. Subsection A. All revenue received by direct taxation from countywide retailer sales tax shall be portioned among the county and each city located in the county in the following manner. And that's, it looks like it's separated by, it's a portion among the county and the city in proportion to the total tangible property tax levies that we see in here.
And maybe it was, we didn't figure that out until after the election, that should be the part that was too.
But then that's contradicting what we just got from KDOR. Saying that if the sales tax is for a specific fund, then
Yeah.
it is not split.
Okay, D1, same statute, says all revenue received from a countywide retailer sales tax imposed pursuant to KSA 12-187B. It has all those exceptions, but it doesn't have 13.
Would you find it?
So if it has the 13, then we have the authority to.
No, it says permitted and retained by the county and expended only for the purpose for which revenue received from tax pledge.
There we go.
Just the opposite.
I was just said, Josh, she's got stuff first.
So D1 does say that we can,
No, your subdivision, B13 is not in that. So, shall be retained by the county is not operative.
County is not obligated to share the 4% sales tax. Another state requires county sales to be shared. However, prior to the election, information about the new sales tax indicated that it would be shared with the cities. And they chose to stand in it.
So since the state's not making the distribution, we should have the authority to change that or do it.
One proviso it's been 21 years since this was done. There's a subsequent legislative change. So, yeah, and that's D1 is a shall, so that means that normally, or well, with all the exceptions, they're to be retained by the county and not distributed, except for purposes. Strange. So do you know that to be a fact that the KDOR didn't distribute it? We did. We get all of it.
You have to,
we get it, they had it broke out, and then we had to take it. We had a formula.
well, according to this article here, you came up with a formula. Linda came up with a formula to distribute it to the cities.
You know, I need it to be. That the state's the one who gave the guidance, I remember that. I was
Yeah.
sure I talked with her in the state.
Yeah, but I mean,
We always had to
192.
we changed the population and we changed the, like value, assessed value.
Yeah.
So
This one,
it's all computer.
12192A says, except as otherwise provided, all revenue received by the Director of Taxation from the countywide retailer sales tax shall be apportioned among. So that, to me, means that the Director does distributing under the statute. not the county. So if there would have been a statutory board in question, you guys would never have had it in your hands. It would all run out from KDOR.
Do we make distributions, okay, I'll ask you this, did we make distributions to the cities out of our portion that we got? Because if what you're saying is correct, then they've been getting a double portion, is that right? Possibly? If you're saying the KDOR is actually the ones that distributed it to the cities, and we actually distributed the part of the money that we got from KDOR to the cities, then they've been getting a double portion, is that correct?
They never distributed it to the cities.
Well, I mean, there's been 23 amendments to 192 since 2004. So we've all got to take this one step at a time as far as what it all means. Because to my mind, since A13 isn't in there, isn't an exception, it would go under subsection A, which again begs the question. But that would have been, the director should have never turned it over to you guys. It's his job to do that to the cities. But he probably can do that, maybe this is just in general.
And so evidently when we voted on it, we told the cities were going to get it.
Okay.
And then,
So under the new election, we could say, under the renewal of this, the money will not be distributed to the cities.
I defer to Todd.
I was too, I just happened to be looking at you.
I would say yes, but I would defer to Todd.
No, I think you got the right person. Well, we're all gonna take a closer look at this.
Yeah.
Get a little sober analysis here to make sure,
And
but you're right in the sense that nothing inherently in B13 says you've got to give it away to the cities in proportion. It's apparent that you did at the time, in the past.
But don't you think just reaching out to the guy, this Adam, who was, one of these emails came from their legal staff at the legislature, well, he would be easily be able to tell you the answer to that question instead
Or
of.
I could post it to Ted.
To who?
Ted Smith. That was who I talked to about the,
Is he an attorney with the state?
he is the head counsel.
Perfect.
I don't know if that was true, but that looks like that's the person.
I guess I'm wondering why I went to, does it say, that economic development portion of that was weird. Because it wasn't authorized. Got that.
Well, it's possible then that the reason that we don't see 13 in there is because it was never, the distribution to the cities was never part of the original question. So it was never put into the statute as that. And since it was for a specific thing, that would not have to be distributed to the cities. That's why we're not seeing it in here. And that's why we get all the funds and the treasurer's office distributes it to the cities from there, according to the formula that Linda set up.
Linda said that, right? It's on
I'm gonna
Excel,
keep
it's on
harping
an
on that
Excel
with
spreadsheet right now, if you'd like to know.
I mean, does that make sense? In a convoluted sort of half-ass way?
Well, I think most of the law is convoluted in a half-assed sort of way, so, yeah. Well, yeah, and I'm trying to square a different circle here, and just. I think the division kind of supposed to be still the general versus specific. It's kind of automatic that the general tax would be portioned. But when you have a specific purpose, the crazy part is how do you guarantee that the cities who receive that are going to expend it for purposes? If you don't have any type of agreement.
It'd be interesting if we have time sometime to go back further in minutes to see.
I have the perfect person for that.
That's good.
You know, I think that's the kicker there, because even though the county said, we are going, here's for roads, or infrastructure, I think is the way that the original one was. So we're using ours for infrastructure, but there's nothing in here that says that the money that the cities are gonna use it for is for
Yeah, I guess that's
infrastructure. Now,
probably.
infrastructure can mean a lot of different things, right? Water, sewer,
Yeah, there's
roads.
a lot of other things
Whatever.
that you guys don't do that they did, which is water and sewer, right? So that's and I think probably the question is there even any record that we have an agreement with the city when we send this out that says just the obvious, put it in the general police budget, right? That would be, you guys could give it to the sheriff.
Yeah.
Legally.
I mean, if that is what it was supposed to be used for us, I would think that we should be able to hold their feet to the fire and be able, that should have been what they used it for the cities, correct?
Yep.
But we have no way of tracking that, looking at that, nothing.
Well, and I mean, there's two questions there. Did you ever track it or have a way to track it or agree that they were going to do that? And who did they, despite everything, use it to that purpose? I mean, you guys can't be blamed if they didn't, obviously, but there's still a question of, and it might be difficult because unless you had some way to track it and agree into it, it's all fungible. I mean, once they put it in their general fund, who knows where it is? They have budgetary
Discretion within their city.
Yeah, and they could transfer funds from and to their funds easily. Even if you say they put it right away in the water, well, they could do a transfer right out to the police department for the same amount, and you could think that. Yeah. So it's going to be more work on that.
And to
If
find
you got
out if there
20
even
minutes.
was any kind of agreement. Or if we just said, yeah, we'll just give you the money, there you go.
Yeah, could say, county to keep work.
Well, that's, I said it before, and that's just, I hate to be mercenary about it, but there is, the word is not legally binding. I don't know how to say it any other way. There's some concepts that, in business or personally, that if I say something and do something to further it, it's called a stop, right? I said this and I did something. There's no agreement, but I did the thing that manifests my agreement. I can't go back and say, no, I get that back. Now, certainly, everything you've done up to this point, you can't get back.
Right.
But you don't, you're a legislature, so you could say at any point, we're not bound by a promise made in 2004 by our predecessors. That was not put into some kind of governing legislation or document or something we have to abide by. There's no contract, there's no you can't you just, and that's just, I mean, the law says that everybody contracts with the city or county are charged to know that limitation. And if you don't have it in writing and it's not authorized, it isn't worth it anyway. It's a legislative decision, it can change at any time. And the only question is probably fairness, is to say, in this go round, that maybe what you understood was different. So I'm not seeing the way it's set up now in my mind, just as far as, you know, master to say, I need to look at it deeper, is say that this seems in your authority to change.
Okay.
And you could change it today, as far as I'm concerned, but, at the very least, openly.
Well, and that's one of the things that we can take a look at too, because I mean, in all fairness to the cities, if we are going to change this, I think that we owe them the notification that it's a possibility that we will be changing this so that it doesn't go for their budget time.
And we've said all along that that's what we were gonna do, so it won't be a surprise.
So that's, and the question being, as far as the vote's concerned, does it affect your approval?
Right. Okay.
Right? I hit the road and mulled over on the drive
Get
back.
your work done for today.
Should be a law against having to use your brain so much on Monday morning.
No kidding.
Go see if things have dried out a little bit.
All right, we'll see you later.
See you, Todd, thanks.
Have a good day.
Christie, on the third page, or fourth paragraph down, 10:16 a.m. After the motion carried 3-0, it needs to read that the session reopened in the chambers at 10:31. And no decisions were made.
Yeah.
Good.
I had changed that. I didn't put it on the copy.
Okay.
And I had misspelled copper too, and then fixed it on the original.
Perfect.
So Chad, Facebook, stand for Washington. Building.
Said 20 times.
One down there at,
Good.
the old Kmart, yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah.
You got a cosmetology down there. Yeah.
Is that all it is, or?
No, it's cosmetology and some of the heavier industry stuff, I believe.
Yeah,
Be
I
over
think
there on the north
electrical,
side.
some electrical and stuff.
Yeah.
But a big part of it is cosmetology, so it's really nice.
Is there really so much of a need for that?
Well, I think there used to be cosmetology.
Is
It was down there and they closed.
Well, the one part, didn't one college, was it the barber college or the cosmetology? One of the colleges told them to close, but I think the barber college weren't.
Okay, anyway, because that's what I said to you, I said, typically a big deal. So, and that was like electrical or manufacturing or something, so. So, yeah. He's making his rounds. He's making his rounds.
Yeah.
Are you guys wanting to present the scholarships and the schools?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. Holton's is May the 12th. There we go. Perfect. Holton's May the 12th. Nice. 13th. Oh, lunch for scholarship.
Yeah, one's a lunch, that's Heights, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. What do you want to do? One or either of those?
Darlene wanted me to bring back up the Saturday closings, just to keep it in your mind.
Do what?
The Saturday closings for the landfill. Darlene just wanted to make sure that you guys didn't forget to discuss.
Oh. Whether
We
we,
kind of dropped it last
Yeah.
time.
we need to just vote yes.
Do you want to know?
I can. You want to come?
Huh?
You want to come?
Not necessarily.
All right, so I would entertain a motion.
We just,
What's that?
Darlene wanted to make sure we put that back up on the agenda. That's fine.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna,
Okay,
yep, that's what this is.
okay,
Yeah, I was listening out here.
never know.
All right, so after discussion last week that we had with the director of noxious weed recycling and household hazardous waste, she made a proposal to be closed on Saturdays rather than open from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So I would entertain a motion to approve the Saturday closures for noxious weed, house recycling, household hazardous waste. So this was for everything, right? Not just,
Yes.
okay. From Memorial Day to Labor Day.
So,
Second. Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the Saturday closure of noxious weed recycling and household hazardous waste from Memorial Day to Labor Day, not open as we have in the past. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I could have somebody say to me that we shouldn't let the bins sit outside the gate at all because trash flows across the road and stuff.
But what happens in the past is they just.
I know, they just put it there, I understand that part,
Yeah,
anyway.
it's
It's a
no
no-win
one's-
I know,
situation.
it's, you know, somebody said, you know, you should have your cameras and then just enforce it, but
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
the Royal Valley one, you can just send that to them. I'll be attending one.
Did you go look at Amanda's alley?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, I did send her.
No, I had talked to her, or she sent me a text later on that day, said that Greg has already been in contact with her. She called Greg,
Oh,
and
good.
already been in contact with her and everything, so.
Okay, I sent her an email to get in contact with Beth if she wanted to.
All right, has everybody read their minutes from April 20th, 2026?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve with corrections.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of April 20th, 2026 with corrections. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Does any other business come before us today? Can't think of any, would it? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Chris, did you have anything?
No, I printed out the appropriations, because I knew you guys were talking about what we can and can't cut, so.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's see what we have there.
And you can look at that question in budget time and just.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you getting that out. And as far as this one up here for the decaf for the 5,000, we never approved that, so we just get rid of that, because that was a one-time thing anyway toward the,
And we have
Housing.
we have not paid that, that was just.
Yeah, that was we didn't approve that.
Budget.
Yep. They came and asked for it, and that was for the housing, when they didn't think when the government was cutting the grants and everything, for the winterization, I believe, is what it was. So. All right, there's nothing further to come before us, Ned, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.